Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to NXT, and tonight we kick off NXT with NXT General Manager Adam Pearce. And certainly, what a night it was for Adam Pearce, being able to get through NXT Stand and Deliver, and then for the very first time ever, we got to saw NXT have the first overall draft pick. And who did Adam Pearce go with? He went with the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. He was the first overall draft pick. A lot of stuff is going on for NXT. A lot of stuff coming out of NXT Stand and Deliver. A lot of stuff coming out of the WWE Draft. So much is going on, and a lot we have to get to. We have championship matches galore tonight. A little bit of everything here tonight to kick off this new era of NXT. And how Adam Pearce is coming out, man, he is absolutely happy to be where he is at. And, with his rhythms tonight, you could definitely say he's feeling pretty glorious. You could say so myself, but we're just a matter of moments away from hearing Adam Pearce address the NXT universe from the first time here after the WWE Draft, and to address NXT Stand and Deliver as a whole, as we got NXT Vengeance Day coming our way very, very soon. We are just 5 weeks away, so tonight starts the build, and we're going to see what champions will be walking out of tonight's event. With the champions, who retains? What does it look like? We're about to send it right down to the ring. All right, let's get right into it. NXT Stand and Deliver is in the books. At NXT Stand and Deliver, this brand did exactly what it promised to do. Championship matches delivered, futures were defined, and once again NXT proved it doesn't just keep up with Raw and SmackDown, it sets the pace. But Stand and Deliver wasn't the end of the conversation, it was the beginning. Because just days later, at the WWE Draft, history was made. For the first time ever, NXT wasn't treated like an afterthought. NXT wasn't treated like a developmental brand. NXT walked into the draft as an equal brand and walked out with the first pick. And with that first pick, NXT sent a message to the entire WWE as a whole. A message to Raw, a message to SmackDown, and a message to every superstar in the back. This is no longer a brand you graduate from. This is a brand you fight to be on. So whether you're a champion coming out of Stand and Deliver, a draft pick looking to make your mark, or someone in the locker room who thinks NXT is still a stepping stone, understand this. From here on out, every night on NXT is Stand and Deliver, and the future of WWE starts right here. And wait just a second, ladies and gentlemen. If you think we couldn't start off any hotter here than NXT, well, you better think better, because the final boss has shown up here to NXT. He shook up what the draft looked like this year, did not want the same thing, so he decided to change it up. He gave NXT the first pick. And if you guys did not watch the WWE Draft, the first pick going to NXT means that Adam Pearce got to choose anyone he wanted that wasn't a champion, and that pick went to the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. I'm sure Adam Pearce was eventually going to get to addressing that number one overall draft pick, but certainly The Rock is here. We knew that The Rock was going to be showing up here on NXT because it was announced that The Rock would be telling us more about this partnership between NXT and TNA. That is correct, NXT and TNA Total Nonstop Action will be having a partnership. We don't know how long this partnership is, but if The Rock is involved, certainly you got to believe it's going to be a long partnership, unless something falls through down the line. But certainly this very well could be big for NXT and TNA. And certainly a lot of viewers at home have watched TNA throughout the years. A lot of superstars have come from TNA to WWE, making big names for themselves. And what better way to do it right now when wrestling is red hot, to have a partnership for NXT and for TNA. Does major wonders. But we'll allow the final boss to address that situation tonight And maybe, just maybe, he'll have other stuff to address here live tonight here on NXT. It's going to be one hell of a night. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the moment we all been waiting for. You know, NXT not being treated as a developmental brand, now being treated just as equal, if not better, than Raw and SmackDown. Adam Pearce leading the charge there, or here on NXT. You get William Regal on Raw, Nick Aldis on SmackDown. A lot of stuff can change from now all the way to next WrestleMania. You never know what that's going to look like, ladies and gentlemen. But first off, we got to see what the final boss has to say. And certainly he's been very hands-on ever since WrestleMania, ladies and gentlemen, not allowing John Cena to retire when he wanted to. And on SmackDown, I'm sure we're going to find out more about that, but we're going to send it back down to the ring to see what the final boss has to say. Finally, The Rock has come to NXT. Adam, I apologize for interrupting you. No, you know what? No, I don't apologize. But I'm here on very important matters ahead. I know you want to go more detail about NXT Stand and Deliver and the NXT Draft, and you will. But first things first, The Rock, the final boss of WWE, has some stuff that we need to address, and that is the NXT and TNA partnership. So let the final boss make this crystal clear. It's not a rumor anymore. It is official. NXT and TNA Wrestling are now partners. This isn't a talent exchange just for headlines. This isn't just a one-night stunt. This is opportunity and competition. This is the best of the best colliding on the same canvases. NXT is the future of this industry. And TNA's hungry. TNA is going to be dangerous. And now they're walking through that door. So here's what that means. At any moment, on any night, an NXT superstar can show up in TNA. And at any moment, a TNA superstar can step foot right here in NXT. They also can come to NXT Stand and Deliver at a premium live event and on weekly television. Anything can happen. And Adam, you run NXT, but make no mistake about it, the final boss just opened the forbidden door for you to make your first move. It's only gonna continue to get bigger at the start of the night, as here comes the American Nightmare, the first overall draft pick of this year's WWE Draft. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, is here. This is gotta feel so surreal for this man, Cody Rhodes. When he first came back to WWE, he was on Monday Night Raw, dominated the Monday Night Raw landscape, not only helping Monday Night Raw stay Monday Night Raw when they feuded with the NWO. The night after that, he would become WWE Champion by knocking off Drew McIntyre and Samoa Joe in a triple threat matchup to become WWE Champion. He is a multi-time WWE Champion, undisputed champion as well here in the series, and certainly 2026 now. I mean, certainly he's been on Raw, he's been on SmackDown, he's been a champion on both brands, but now you go to NXT where he's draft picked, where he's now something completely different. He's a main event talent, obviously, ever since he's joined back, and now what else is there to accomplish? Well, NXT is the perfect proving ground for Cody Rhodes to even do more here in WWE. And obviously this is where his late father, Dusty Rhodes, helped grow the new superstars throughout the years, from the likes of Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins, and many other superstars. But let's head down to the ring real quick. Wow. First of all, NXT, thank you. I've walked into a lot of arenas in my career. I've stood on the biggest stages this business has to offer. But walking out here tonight as the number one overall pick on NXT, that means something. Adam, Pierce says that NXT is not a stepping stone anymore. He's right. And then you, Dwayne, you just confirmed something that changes the entire landscape of this industry. NXT and TNA, two hungry locker rooms, one global spotlight. That's not chaos, that's opportunity. But let's make things very clear. I didn't come to NXT because it was safe. I didn't come to NXT because it was comfortable. I came to NXT because it's the most competitive brand in WWE. And as the number one pick in the entire draft, I'm not here to visit. I'm not here to help out. I'm here to lead. And Rocky, so whether it's the NXT's best, Raw's best, SmackDown's best, or anyone from TNA who thinks this partnership is an open invitation, they can step up, because if this is the future of professional wrestling, then NXT is where I stand. Cody Rhodes, the number one overall pick in the WWE Draft. You just said you didn't come to NXT because it was safe. You said you came here to lead. So the final boss is going to do you a favor. He's going to throw you straight into the fire, because tonight in the main event, it will be Cody Rhodes challenging Dragon Lee for the NXT Championship in the main event of tonight's show. Because if you're going to be the face of this brand, if you're going to lead NXT into a new era, then you're going to have to do it the same way this brand was built, by standing and delivering. Now, Cody, you should head to the back and get ready for your matchup, as now Adam Pearce is going to address the NXT universe, talk about NXT Stand and Deliver, and talk about the major matches we have in store for everyone here tonight. Thanks, Dwayne. Thanks, Cody, for being out here. But yes, we are going to quickly address tonight's festivities, as tonight we are going to have several championship matches. First matchup tonight that we are kicking it off in the tag team division for the tag team championships is Obafemi and Omos defend their titles against the Usos. Also tonight, Kofi Kingston of the New Day will use his win in that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal against Trick Williams for the NXT North American Championship, as well as tonight Blake Monroe challenges Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship. Another big-time women's tag team match is on display tonight, as it'll be Stephanie Vaquer and Julia taking on the team of Bayley and Lyra Valkyria for the women's tag team championships, and plus the breaking news we just got, Cody Rhodes, Dragon Lee, NXT Championship in your main event. And one last thing for the champions tonight. If the champions do lose tonight, I am giving them an option to leave NXT and either to sign with Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. It's a very rare occasion where the champions were safe. I'm giving the champions an opportunity, if they lose tonight, to go to Raw or SmackDown. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we get into our first action of the 2026 season, as it is the Usos challenging for the Tag Team Championships. Obafemi and Omos are the new Tag Team Champions, defeating Los Garza of Legado del Fantasma live there at NXT Stand and Deliver. But now, a big-time title defense right off the gate against Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso. Multi-time Raw Tag Team Champions, same with the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And could you imagine their first nights here in NXT, coming here to NXT, knocking off Obafemi and Omos? What a way to kick off the 2026 season, and doing it in grand fashion. They're all going to be first ballot Hall of Famers, Will, Jay, and Jimmy, but certainly adding another championship to their already prestigious careers, certainly they won't mind it for sure. But obviously Obafemi, Omos will have something to say about it. This matchup is bound to be very brutal, and certainly for the Usos, they have to be very careful going into this matchup. Certainly these two dudes are absolute monsters, and especially when you look at the Omos, you look at Obafemi, just two magnificent monsters, man. You just cannot allow them to get momentum going in their corner, or they will walk out victorious. Obafemi was close to retaining his championship, but ended up losing to Trick Williams, as we saw a new NXT North American champion. We'll see how Obafemi fares tonight in this tag team affair with himself and Omos. And I do like what Adam Pearce did add there, ladies and gentlemen, giving the champions, let's say they do lose tonight, they do get an opportunity, if they want to leave NXT and either go to Raw or SmackDown. Because obviously they didn't get the rights to be drafted to Raw or even SmackDown.
The following contest is a tag team match scheduled for one fall and is for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Introducing the challengers at a combined weight of 493 pounds, Jimmy and Jay, the Usos. And their opponents at a combined weight of 689 pounds, the team of Omos and Obafemi.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're just a matter of moments away from the NXT Tag Team Championships from being defended. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The matchup has officially started. Usos versus Omos and Obafemi. Certainly early on in this matchup, strategies are going to be key in this situation, especially with the Usos dealing with Omos in the middle of this ring. You got, two different types of heavyweight weights. You got the super heavyweight in Omos, and then you got a heavyweight like Obafemi. A little bit harder to take down a man like Omos, but certainly it's not something that is not possible, but it will take a little bit longer to get to where you want to in this matchup. So frequent tags by the Usos definitely should get them the tag team titles if they are able to slow down Omos and Obafemi and kind of get them where their game plan wants to be in this matchup. And just like that, turning Omos inside out with that drop kick, that's what you got to do in these key situations here. Is Omos tilting here a little bit? Omos is telling him to bring it on here. As now Omos from behind. Oh, big time forearm, slowing down Jimmy Uso. And in these situations, that's what you got to do to Jimmy and Jay, because they're going to want to up the pace of this match against these heavyweights. So if you're Omos, if you're Obafemi, work in the middle of that back, slowing down Jimmy and Jay as much as possible, hitting those powerful maneuvers so that Jimmy and Jay aren't flying around, hitting those super kicks and hitting those Uso splashes. Certainly will be a way to walk out still the tag team champions. Now Omos throws Jimmy into the corner. We're going to get a tag by the former NXT North American champion, as now Obafemi, big axe handle right to the rib section there of Jimmy. And would like to once again thank you guys so much for tuning in. We had a great Monday Night Raw a couple days ago. Now we have this edition of NXT. The partnership was announced by The Rock. Certainly looking forward to seeing where that is going to be looking forward to, just in terms of what direction that's going to be going to and what TNA superstars are going to be showing up here in NXT. And will there be additions of our NXT episodes? Are we going to TNA? I mean, I'm very curious to really see how that's going to look here in the near future. And also, who's running things in TNA? I mean, there's so many questions. I'm gonna see men and women from both shows showing up here. Big opportunity for everyone involved. As an Uso splash there from Jey Uso, connecting right to the midsection there. But Jey not gonna go for the pinfall, realizing he has to do a little bit more. And you notice they're cutting off the ring right now. And this is what has made Jey and Jimmy dangerous throughout the years. As an Uso Samoan drop. And now Obafemi looking to get the tag. And Jimmy was blocking it off momentarily. But Obafemi now looks to get the tag, and he will. I think it was a good idea for Obafemi to get that tag early on in this matchup, because a couple of those maneuvers definitely are going to be hurting early on. But certainly a man like Omos is not an easy man to really toss up there. We've seen how super heavyweights do recently here. I mean, we've seen Mark Henry, ladies and gentlemen, very accomplished ever since coming back here to WWE, winning the Royal Rumble, going on to main event WrestleMania, knocking off Drew McIntyre for that World Heavyweight Championship, and then on Monday Night Raw recently defeating Brock Lesnar 1-on-1. It was back and forth match, but Mark Henry brought the fight. He brought the fight to Brock Lesnar, and we saw what happened. Mark Henry defeated Brock Lesnar, but also it seems like he is going to have to deal with the vision of Seth Rollins. And that certainly isn't going to be the easiest thing, as Obafemi trying to get his hands on Jimmy Uso, and as Omos was trying to deal with him in his own right. That's the type of situation where Obafemi's got to back off in that situation. But going back to talking about that super heavyweight, Mark Henry now put down Brock Lesnar, now having to deal with the vision, a lot to really deal with. There is Jimmy Uso with a flying forearm, takes down the big man Omos, but Omos just too much right there. And tonight's show it's almost like a PLE. This is the very first show for NXT in the new year of 2026 here. It's certainly going to be a great year, I believe, ladies and gentlemen. Plenty of great action going to be coming our way. And I think, with the amount of talent that we've picked up here in NXT now, and it's being now another brand instead of it just being a quote-unquote developmental brand, I think there's a lot to go into it. And especially when you have the likes of Cody Rhodes, Gunther, Usos, The New Day, Roxanne, Julia, Stephanie back here, all these big names. This is Jimmy Uso over the top rope, takes down Omos. But I mean, there's just so much great talent that I still haven't even named it. And even Big E, I mean, certainly a big name we haven't seen in a good while, making his return in WWE. He's been kind of out for months now, but making his way back here to professional wrestling, or in the middle of the ring as well. Looking to see where Big E fits into things here on the main roster again. Is now Jimmy Uso back inside the ring. Big time moment in this matchup for the tag team titles. Will we see new tag team champions? As what are we gonna see? 1D from the Usos to Omos. Are we gonna see new tag team champions? No, at least not yet. Obafemi breaks it up, and he's able to take at least this matchup a little bit longer. Is Jey Uso super kick, folding Omos in half. And the good thing about Jey right now, he's keeping on the attack right now. As Omos with a big elbow strike stuns Jey Uso momentarily, and almost like a shoulder, like mostly really just hit him with his shoulder there. Highly effective from the big man Omos, and a big kidney punch, man. Oof. I would not want to be Jey Uso in that situation, ladies and gentlemen. That looked like that hurt for sure. Is now Obafemi looking to go to work here. Looking for an F10. Oh my goodness. Turns Jey Uso inside out. It's Orlando, Florida crowd in for a treat in this matchup. And having one of the best tag teams of all time against the current tag team champions. Look at Jey just wrenching in on that shoulder blade. That is not going to be feeling the best for Obafemi, but everything right now is pure adrenaline from all 4 competitors in this matchup. As now Jay with a pinfall right in front of the corner there. But just a 2 count matchup continues. Jay once again here. Oh, look at him. He's blocking off Omos from getting in the ring there. I think there was a point to try to steal a victory there from the tag team champions. Is now Jay with a pinfall. Are they going to steal the tag team titles? No. 2.5. Jay pulling out all the stops here. Obafemi's in trouble right now. I think Oba desperately needs a tag, ladies and gentlemen. Or we could be moments away from seeing new tag team champions. In the corners we go. Here we go with another tag. Let's see what the Usos want to set up for. Double super kick. It is a super kick party here tonight, here in Orlando, Florida. Still to come tonight, we have multiple championships on the line. As Obafemi realizes he's in trouble. Jay was probably setting up for an Uso splash. Omos misses a clothesline wildly, and now Omos gonna have to look to go back to work here. No, the referee needs to stop him. He's choking Jey Uso in the corner there. But we still have tag team championships to be defended later on tonight, as Stephanie Vakir and Julia take on Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Plus, later on tonight, Trick Williams takes on Kofi Kingston for the NXT North American Championship. Kofi Kingston, who at WrestleMania won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. He will be in action looking to win that championship as a 1D to Omos once again, ladies and gentlemen. Pinfall. But again, Obafemi breaks it up. But really looking forward to that Kofi Kingston, Trick Williams matchup there. Plus in your main event, Dragon Lee, the NXT champion, takes on Cody Rhodes, and which should be a very competitive main event as they look at that pump up Samoan drop. Look at Jey Uso not allowing Omos to get a tag whatsoever there. Now Jay trying to decide what he wants to do in this situation. Probably taking up too much time though, and trying to exchange strikes with Omos. Probably not the best of ideas. And for this episode, this is an old school version of New Year's Evil. So you're seeing the older colors of NXT with the gold and white. Certainly not the colors you guys are used to with the black and gray. But this is, like I mentioned, the older version of NXT's New Year's Evil. Plenty of great action as a beautiful super kick takes down Omos, and another one just for good measure. He's trying to really send a message here to Omos and company, trying to get 3 in a row there, and Omos is not going to allow that to happen. Certainly just those are wake-up calls. I mean, certainly the first one is, then back-to-back is, and then him trying to go for 3. I mean, certainly that's a lot to take in as they roll up here from Obafemi, looking to steal one here. But nope, just a 1 count. Jey Uso keeps himself in this matchup momentarily, as now Obafemi starting to wake up here a little bit, looking to go to town here on Jey Uso. Now Obafemi gets a tag to Omos, one half of the tag team champions here. The big man coming right after Jimmy Uso. And that 2-handed choke slam all the way down to hell. Pinfall opportunity. Is that enough to retain? No, it's not. 2.5. Almost looking to rake the eyes. Trying to rake the eyes of Jimmy Uso, but Uso not going to allow that. Big super kick, double super kick. Not only to the front of the face, but the back of the head. Pinfall, is this enough? Ooh, I think it could have been, but Obafemi once again saving the day. Jimmy now looking to steal one as Obafemi right back to the apron. Are we going to see new champions? We will not, at least not yet anyway. As Omos throws him right at Jey Uso. Back and forth we go, and man, just look at the strength and power just to be able to toss your opponent in the ring like that. And I think, if Obafemi and Omos can survive tonight, I think they're going to be a very dangerous tag team. And Adam Pearce, it seemed like he made it his right to pick up some big name tag teams. You got the Usos, you got the New Day, you got DIY, you bring back Fraxium. There's plenty of tag teams here that certainly add a lot to this division. As now Jey Uso gets tagged in here, Obafemi with an axe handle right there, and Obafemi looking to end this match right here and looking to pick up one of the better wins of their whole entire career. 1, 2, no, Jey Uso kicks out. Jey Uso, a former European champion here in the series, while winning multiple tag team championships with his brother. They are looking to add another championship reign. They've dominated Raw and SmackDown throughout the years. Could NXT be the next title on their hit list here? As Uso drops him right on that top rope there. Now into the pinfall. Hook of the leg. Will this be enough? No. Still going to do a little bit more damage if you want to put away Mr. Obafemi there. As, look at Omos. Omos picking up the scraps there, helping out his tag team partner. But nope, not enough. Thought that maybe a knockout blow, honestly. Jey Uso seemed like he was looking to go for a neck breaker. Omos punching him right out of the air. And just like that, the momentum going in the favor of Obafemi and Omos there. As these two continue to go back and forth. Jey is trying to survive in the corner. Obafemi connecting with an elbow. Omos giving away 2-for-1 specials there. Man, just the chaoticness of this matchup, ladies and gentlemen. This is just your first matchup of the evening. We have plenty left in store, including a brutal NXT Women's Championship matchup as Roxanne Perez takes on Blake Monroe later on tonight for the NXT Women's Championship. A big-time chokeslam there from Omos, but Jimmy Uso right there to save this matchup and save his brother there. As now Omos looking to go maybe for a two-handed chokeslam here to the Yeet Master. Is down goes Jey. Are we going to see the retainment of the tag titles? No, at least not yet. 2.5. What is got to give in these matches, ladies and gentlemen? Nobody wants to give up. They know how big this matchup is. Obviously, Obafemi and Omos, they realize, hey, they don't want to go out this way. They don't want to go out just having one title offense, as Jey Uso spikes Obafemi there. And then obviously Jey and Jimmy, they know how big this opportunity is for them early on. They want to showcase, hey, yes, we have been one of the top tag teams for a very, very long time. As now, hold on, the Usos looking to hit the 1D on Obafemi this time around. And now, here we go, pinfall. Are we going to see new tag team champions? No, the big man, Omos, able to break it up. The Nigerian Giant looking pretty fast, getting out of those ropes there. I mean, I would say you would think the next big maneuver would win this matchup, but this matchup, it's been highly competitive, a lot of back and forth, very tense situations. You just don't know when exactly that moment's going to be for these tag teams. It's a big snake eyes maneuver there from Omos. That honestly might be the knockout blow. No, it is not. 2.5. Well, and especially from that height. I mean, certainly that adds a little bit more of a killer blow as Omos with a release suplex. And this is what I'm liking from Omos and Obafemi. They're keeping each other very well in tuned in this matchup with frequent tags. They're keeping each other active in this matchup. It's not been too overly one-sided from both of these guys. It's another release suplex, takes down Jimmy. Certainly, it was great to see The Rock earlier on tonight, even though, he's the final boss. You never know what he's going to try to do, but his appearance was mostly to focus up with what was going to happen tonight with the TNA and NXT partnership. As again, looking to connect with the 1D, I believe. Yes, it is the second time on Obafemi. Is that enough this time? Pinfall, but no, almost breaks it up this time as well. We've seen a little bit of everything. We've seen Uso splashes. We've seen super kicks. We've seen 1Ds. And then we've seen pump up power bombs from Obafemi. We've seen two-handed choke slams from Omos. It just has not been enough yet. What is going to keep them down? They got to pick the right place at the right time. And we have not seen this in a good while, but now we're going to see a Uso splash right on that left knee, that left leg. Oh my goodness, this is a critical moment in this matchup. But look at Omos rolling out of the ring so the Usos could not win the tag team titles. And now Jimmy has to go back to work here. And oh goodness, big forearm strike there. It stuns Jimmy briefly, but had enough time to take out Omos. But now Obafemi gets the tag in this matchup. And this might be the moment that Jimmy Uso needs right now, because Omos is down and out temporarily. This might be the moment he needs. It's a big super kick right there. Omos watching on there. He gets hit with a super kick. Super kick city. Omos taken out of the situation. Is this the moment for the Usos? Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Super kick city. Right to the temple. Now do they go for the pinfall? No, Jay's not going to. I think that would have been a better moment, realizing what Omos being down and out temporarily is a super kick now cutting the top of the head of Obafemi. Oh goodness, nice duck there from Obafemi. And then look at that blood just dripping down the face there. Back and forth we go. Obafemi trying to run right through him. This has been an awesome tag team matchup. Look at that blood just flowing through him as Obafemi and Omos here. Simple but effective. Big axe handle right to the ribs of Jey Uso there. And certainly we had a lot of big time action there at NXT Stand and Deliver, ladies and gentlemen. And now coming out of the WWE Draft, NXT certainly a big name for themselves. Certainly a lot to digest, especially with the #1 overall pick being Cody Rhodes. He is now challenging Dragon Lee for the NXT Championship in the main event. As hold on a minute, Jay looking to walk out victorious, but Obafemi breaks it up. But going back to it, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, this is a big time moment for Dragon Lee. The biggest match of his whole entire career, taking on quite notably the biggest name in all of WWE, that being Cody Rhodes. So this is a moment of a lifetime for Dragon Lee to show, hey, I can beat the best of the best. And if it happens to be Cody Rhodes, I can do that. So, I mean, it's a lot to digest, especially with, you know, it being, you know, you win the NXT Championship in a Iron Man match. You came back to win it 5-4, I believe it was, or 4-3, one of those. And you know, it's still your first match back on NXT. It happens to be against one of the best superstars in all of WWE. It's going to be maybe frustrating at times for Dragon Lee in that matchup. As now Obafemi now. No, gets hit with a reversal. And now, no, Jay not able to capitalize. Obafemi a little bit faster. Big time back suplex. You can feel the momentum switching back and forth rapidly between both teams. It feels like nobody knows how to hit that clutch move in this matchup to put away their opponent. They've gone through hell and back, all four of these superstars, as another super kick, into a nice uppercut. And wait a minute, Jimmy has him in the landing zone, possibly. Uso splash, but no, Obafemi moves. And was that the last moment? No, it was not. Super kick, double super kick. Now, is that enough? Are we going to see new champions? 2. Oh, Omos saves it at the very last second. And if these guys weren't on point in this matchup, they probably could have seen new champions in this matchup multiple times. Into the pinfall. Was that snapmare enough to take him down? Yes, it was. Omos probably not believing that Obafemi. He was probably believing that Obafemi was going to be able to kick out of that snapmare. Just so much going on. And ladies and gentlemen, the first matchup of NXT in 2026 leads to new tag team champions. Obafemi and Omos didn't get too much really time to celebrate here, ladies and gentlemen, and we see new tag team champions. What a tag team match. You couldn't ask for a better tag team matchup. There was times in this matchup where Obafemi and Omos should have won this, but you know, the Usos were able to capitalize and get back in the match and just survive Omos and Obafemi, and that's saying something. What a tag team match, though. I mean, these guys put it all on the line. But not only has Jimmy and Jay won Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Champions, you can add the NXT Tag Team Champions to their already Hall of Fame type careers. What a way to kick us off here on NXT Live here in Orlando, Florida.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the NXT North American Championship.
It's a new day. Yes, it is.
And now here comes the New Day. It is going to be Kofi Kingston taking on Trick Williams. Big time moment for both of these men, honestly. You know, obviously New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, one of the better tag teams we've had here in Universe mode, up there with the Usos. Now they're on the same brand once again here. Certainly wouldn't mind seeing the Usos and the New Day go at it once again. But tonight, this is about Kofi Kingston, who at WrestleMania won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and got to choose what championship he would be able to take on, obviously depending on what brand he would be on. Well, certainly he is on NXT now, gets drafted to NXT with his good friend Xavier Woods, and now Kofi takes on Trick Williams in a NXT North American Championship match. This is the type of matchup that I think this could be a criminally underrated matchup, at least personally. I think this matchup, given time and, you know, could be very competitive in this matchup. I mean, we could see a new NXT North American champion. But if Trick Williams has something to say about it, he is going to continue to be the NXT North American champion. He's going to be looking to whoop that Trick here tonight. He's going to look to whoop Kofi Kingston up and down here tonight. He beat Obafemi to become the champion in a hard-hitting matchup, was able to outlast the big man. And now tonight, Trick Willie has to do it against a first ballot WWE Hall of Famer, that being Kofi Kingston. I think this matchup is going to be very competitive. I think it's just going to be able to see the key factor in this matchup. Obviously, Xavier Woods being at ringside, but I think for Trick Williams, it's just being able to outthink and outsmart the veteran Kofi Kingston in this matchup. So I think Trick Williams can stay in this matchup for the most part of this matchup, even if it were to go long in this matchup. But I think Trick Williams will do just fine. Especially, this is I would say a proving point in his career. Almost could call it a proving ground moment for Trick Williams against Kofi here.
Introducing the challenger from Ghana, West Africa, weighing in at 212 pounds, Kofi Kingston. opponent from Columbia, South Carolina, weighing in at 205 pounds, the NXT North American Champion, Trick Williams.
And now the moment we've all been waiting for. A matchup that could very well steal the show tonight. It is Kofi versus Trick Williams for that NXT North American Championship. Kofi seems like he's motivated. Trick Williams is ready. I'm ready. I hope you're ready. Here we go. Referee has officially rung the bell. Here we go. Big time moment between both of these superstars. And Trick Williams trying to slow down Kofi as much as possible here. But Kofi with a nice arm drag takedown. Now going to try to turn it into a headlock of sorts in this moment. And man, look at that. Just wrenching in on the head. Wrenching it on the head. Trying to slow him down as much as possible here. Kofi trying to do his best to keep this on. Trick Williams might be able to slip out of this, possibly. He's trying to turn it around. Yes, he does. Now, this is first time ever matchup between Kofi and Trick Williams. This is a feeling out process. And Kofi now able to readjust it in this situation. And I think, with these maneuvers going back and forth, I think it's just kind of a mind games type of thing. Really trying to see the toughness early on of your opponent to really see if they're able to go to that quote-unquote next level in this matchup. And I think Trick Williams is doing quite well early on just to stay paced, at least momentarily, with Kofi Kingston. Able to slow him down. Kofi can't start running around this ring. Obviously, Trick a little bit stronger than Kofi Kingston, but that won't really mean anything at the end of the day, as Kofi with a nice dodge there. And now still another process here between both men, but Trick Williams pushes Kofi down. Oh, but a jawbreaker from Kofi Kingston though. And like we mentioned, for Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, multi-time tag team champions here in the series, Raw, SmackDown, it does not matter. They have dominated the tag team division for the most part. I would say 2025, they certainly have, didn't get as many opportunities. Certainly with a lot of these new tag teams getting these opportunities on Raw, NXT, SmackDown, whatever it may be. But I think 2026 could be a year of the New Day. And, it's already started with, Kofi Kingston winning at WrestleMania, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And now, what better way than to knock off the current NXT North American Champion, Trick Williams. As now, here comes Kofi, good for that boom drop. Oh no! Trick Williams able to roll out the way. Kofi with a nice block there. And spinning kick right to the temple. Takes down Trick Williams. I don't think Trick Williams knew what just hit him right in the temple. Might take him a couple seconds to recuperate because that was flush right on the face, as Trick Williams with a nice reversal. Irish whip into the ring, but now Kofi going to be able to capitalize. And obviously for the New Day, it's really them trying to recuperate. They have not been the same ever since, back in the day when Big E turned on and betrayed Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston a couple years ago. Those guys were still trying to figure out who they were and how they would adjust from time to time. They were all on Monday Night Raw, and eventually in the draft, Big E would go to SmackDown at that time. New Day would stay on Monday Night Raw, if I remember correctly. And Big E was looking to become world champion, and just kind of go down his own way. Didn't get to that point where he got to. He did become tag team champions at eventually one time when, That's Trick Williams with that big maneuver to Kofi Kingston. Hold on, we'll talk about it more, but there's a long story past with the New Day as, oh, nice power maneuver there from Trick Williams. Big stomp to the back of that neck there from Trick Williams. He's getting the momentum this last couple moments here. Starting to feel that it may go in the moment. Did you see what Kofi did there? He saw Trick Williams was setting him up with that knee strike, and Kofi held on to those ropes, and that's what saved him in this matchup. Because if Kofi gets hit with that, Trick Williams may be retaining his championship. But that is Kofi Kingston for you. Oh no! He's looking for that almost like a leg drop of sorts. Didn't work out. Now Trick Williams is going to look to make him pay. Now this is a key moment in the matchup. Missing that maneuver, but also Kofi landed hard on his tailbone, landing outside here. So this is a question in this matchup of how much damage was done with that high-risk maneuver. As Trick Williams is stomping away right there on Kofi Kingston. Certainly it's going to be one hard-hitting matchup. We knew Kofi Kingston, a hard-hitting superstar with that Trouble in Paradise. Williams has a very vicious knee strike that he connects with from time to time. But something's got to give. Got to have a winner. Got to have a loser as Trick Williams misses the axe handle. We'll see if Kofi Kingston can capitalize here. Nice arm drag takedown there. Can Kofi somehow dig down deep here and knock off the NXT North American Championship and become the new champion? As now Kofi, springboard from the top rope, takes down Trick Williams. And now this is the moment that Trick Williams does not want. He does not want Kofi to get this momentum starting to roll down that hill here. So let's see what Kofi wants to do here. See what the veteran has in store for this young man, Trick Williams. It's a nice maneuver, simple but effective there. And sometimes doing stuff more simpler is, sometimes that actually gets you the win. As now this time looking for the boom drop this time around. Highly effective. Now Kofi looking for that Trouble in Paradise, looking to put away Trick Williams. Bam! Kill shot. Kill shot. Trouble in Paradise. 1, 2. No, 2.5. 2.5, ladies and gentlemen. Thought that was going to be it. Another Trouble in Paradise. The second one busting open. Cut it across the forehead. Is that it? No, 2.5. 2 Trouble in Paradises, and it was not enough. And now Kofi, big time splash there. Well, shades of Mark Henry. And now, boom, jumping clothesline from Trick Williams. Maybe being cut open. Maybe he has awoken up Trick Williams. Hey, first time title defense for Trick Williams as the North American champion. You gotta wake up, kid. And maybe, just like I said, getting kicked in the face may have awoken him finally. As now Trick with a swinging neck breaker there to Kofi. Pinfall attempt. Is this it? 2. No, 2.5. And now what is Trick Williams setting up here? Oh goodness, he hit all of that. He connected with all of that, ladies and gentlemen. And now Trick Williams with an Irish whip into that jumping knee strike. He missed it out earlier, and that might be enough to retain. 2, 3. Trick Williams with a pivotal moment in his career, retaining the NXT North American Championship. There for the longest time, ladies and gentlemen, to be honest, I thought Kofi was going to knock off Trick Williams. But it just was too much tonight. Trick Williams this is what the future looks like for Trick Williams. Being able to come from behind at times in matchups, showing your fortitude, and being able to dig down deep when, the momentum's not going in your corner. There's moments in the matchup where you could see Trick Williams was able to outlast him, and he was able to. But 2 kicks to the face, man, by Kofi Kingston. One of them right there, And then, obviously, it wasn't enough. Kofi Kingston would again set him up a second time. Bam! He got all of it, cutting open Trick Williams, but it wasn't enough at that time. And then right here, bam! Kill shot, running knee strike, right to the temple. Kill shot, and Trick Williams survives another day here as NXT North American Champion. Whoop, that Trick is correct tonight. Trick Williams is on top of the NXT world tonight. I don't think we could ask for a better matchup, ladies and gentlemen. Wait a minute, Xavier Woods has a kendo stick. What are you doing, Xavier? This is not what you're known for. You're known for the power of positivity. Xavier Woods just unleashing with the kendo stick there after watching Kofi Kingston losing that matchup that Kofi probably should have won. Look at Xavier Woods just beating the hell out of Trick Williams right here, trying to break it over top of him. And oh my goodness. And now Woods now. No. Has him up. Oh, goodness. That neck is not going to be feeling good. And look at Woods mocking what he's doing. Normally known for that power of positivity, ladies and gentlemen. But we're not seeing it right here, right now. Looking to take out Trick Williams once again. Has him up and bam, just right there. Right there. Breaking, almost trying to break the neck of Trick Williams. And oh my goodness. Just trying to decimate, send a message to Trick Williams. Certainly not afraid to do it when Trick Williams has his back turned. Ladies and gentlemen, this is shocking. We don't see Xavier Woods do this. This is not what himself and Kofi Kingston are known for. He throws him right into the ref just to drop him from behind. This is horrendous. Why? Why are we seeing this? Oh, that's a big spear to the outside here. Xavier Woods not happy. Not happy. Obviously, it was not the year to remember for the New Day. But if it's something that the New Day want to be remembered by, I guess certainly this is the time to do it. Oh no. Right off the announce table, ladies and gentlemen. And oh no, not the chair. Not the chair. Come on, put down the chair, Xavier. This is not what you gotta do as he throws it right at him. Come on, Xavier. This is not who you are. Down deep, as again Xavier Woods dropping him on his head and neck area. Can we get somebody out here? God damn it. No, wait a minute. Hold on. Seems like Xavier's not done just yet, as now Woods tossing in Trick Williams. This is just something that is absolutely uncalled for, ladies and gentlemen, as Woods with a military press buster. Oh my goodness. Your message is sent, Xavier. Get the hell out of here. As Woods throws, at least is trying to throw him over the top rope, and he does, but certainly not a way to be expecting the New Day to go out here. And wait a minute. Is it really? Yes, it is. It's Big E. Big E has returned. We've not seen Big E in quite a long time. It's probably been up to a year, if not a little bit longer. Big E was not a part of the last WWE Draft, if I can recall. But Big E making his way down to the ring. I'm very curious what to see, because last time we saw Big E, obviously Big E all by himself, but Big E was doing things the way he wanted to. Now is Big E joining Xavier with this possible beatdown of Trick Williams? You people act shocked, like this was some kind of crime, like the New Day owes anybody an explanation. We walk into NXT to show respect, and what did we get? Overlooked, disrespected. Trick Williams didn't get jumped because he's a good guy. He got jumped because he forgot his place. As soon as we got drafted here to NXT, what was the very first thing everybody wanted to talk about? They wanted to talk about the past. Everybody wanted to talk about Big E. The same Big E who turned his back on us years ago. The same Big E who chose his own ego over the brotherhood that we had. So go ahead, Big E. Tell the world if you're finally ready to come back home or if you're still too scared to face what you did. You know what, Woods? You're right. I did betray the New Day a couple years ago because I was egotistical, because I wanted it to be all about me. And you know what? We were losing big time match after big time match, and I got ahead of myself and I did something cowardly. I took out you and Kofi Kingston, and I absolutely regret it to this day. But you know what? At least I'm man enough to admit that, Xavier, that I was bitter, that I was egotistical, that I shouldn't have done that. But you know, when you want the fame and the glory, sometimes you get ahead of yourselves, and that's what happened back then, and it feels like that's what's happening right now. And what you just did to Trick Williams, it feels like it's egotistical. That kid came out here, gave everything he had against Kofi, and instead of shaking his hand after the matchup, you tried to break him. That's not brotherhood. That's jealousy, Xavier. Jealousy. We built this industry, Big E. And you walked away and let the world paint you as somebody different. You wanted to do your own thing, which I understand, but you did it the wrong way. And guess what we had to do? We had to pick up the scraps, Big E, and Kofi and I had to learn to survive. When I saw you got drafted to NXT, I thought, I'm very curious to see if we'd ever have another interaction. And we did get our interaction. But, Big E, there's one thing I'm going to tell you. You're either with me and Kofi the rest of the way, or you're against us. So I'm going to give you that ultimatum real quick. Like I told you, Xavier, I'm a new man. I'm man enough to admit my mistakes I did a couple years ago, and I was hoping just maybe we could rekindle the New Day. But if this is going to be the road that you and Kofi go down, I want no part of it. I want that New Day that we had back in the day where we dominated Raw, SmackDown, whatever brand we were on. The respect, the honor that we had, and especially for the future of this business. But like I said, if you and Kofi aren't going down that road, I'm not going to follow you. Listen, E, cheering for a man who walked out when things got hard. You didn't leave because you had principles. You left because you couldn't stand not being the center of it all anymore. You talk about respect and honor. Where was that honor when you decided you were bigger than us? You didn't save the New Day. You abandoned it. And now you show up on NXT not to help Trick Williams, not to fix the past, but to make yourself feel important again. This isn't your home anymore, Big E. This is our house. And if you're standing with Trick Williams, then you're standing in the way of the New Day. So don't get it twisted. You didn't choose to walk away from us. We outgrew you. No, Xavier Woods taking out Big E here. Looks like we are not going to be rekindling anything, ladies and gentlemen. Xavier Woods taking down Big E, and it seems like we might be changing up what they had years ago. Obviously, Big E's the one that turned his back on the New Day, and it seemed like maybe that Big E was going to want to maybe rekindle what they had back in the day. Big E coming out here saying, he was sorry for what he did to the New Day, but Xavier Woods, he's not too happy about that. And I understand that, but it's been a couple years. Let bygones be bygones. But Xavier Woods is not going to do that. Kofi Kingston has been taken to the back. That's why you're not seeing him right now. But right now, you're seeing Xavier Woods absolutely snap here on Big E here. Big moment here live here on NXT. All hell has broken loose here live. Oh goodness, is Big E getting his head bounced right off our announce table. This ain't gonna end well for one of these men. Big E's gotta wake up real quick like. Uh-oh. No, 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 no. Oh, goodness. Stiff DDT there from Xavier Woods. Into a leg drop right on that broken kendo stick as well. As Woods now telling Big E to get up to his feet here. Can only imagine what Xavier Woods may have in store. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, my goodness. Folding Big E right in half. And Xavier Woods not done. Gonna look to connect with another neck breaker here. Bam! And we know Big E has neck issues as well, ladies and gentlemen. Laying out somebody that he knows very, very well. No reunion for this New Day. It is certainly a new day, but a new day in hell for this version of the New Day is now Xavier Woods. Moonsault all the way through the table, and Xavier Woods laying out Big E.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the NXT Women's Championship.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, like Alicia Taylor just said, it is time for the NXT Women's Championship. We get Blake Monroe versus Roxanne Perez. Live there at NXT Stand and Deliver, Blake Monroe knocked off Tiffany Stratton in a one-on-one contest. Then, in the main event of the evening, Roxanne Perez would retain her NXT Women's Championship over Julia. And now even tonight, with these title matches that we're seeing, Adam Pearce has given the opportunity to the champions, the current champions, if they happen to lose tonight, if they were to choose to, they can leave NXT and either go to Raw or SmackDown. So Obafemi and Omos, they were the champions earlier. They got knocked off by the Usos. That gives Obafemi and Omos a chance. They're more than welcome to stay here in NXT, or just maybe they are allowed to go together to Raw and SmackDown, or go separate together, or one can stay, one can go, whatever that may look like. And we'll kind of see where that goes. But here comes Roxanne Perez, the prodigy of NXT, a woman that will do anything to retain her championship. She's been here in NXT for a couple years now. We've watched this lady grow up from being that shy young lady to being a young and dominant champion. Multi-time NXT Women's Champion, multi-time NXT Women's Champion, like I mentioned, as well as with the Tag Team Championships. So certainly Roxanne knows how to get the job done, and especially the main event NXT Stand and Deliver and walk out with that NXT Women's Championship certainly is got to add her momentum to an all-time high. But also, you got Blake Monroe, one of the hottest free agents that would come to NXT. She's doing quite well for herself. And now she has a prime time matchup for the first edition of NXT this year in 2026. That NXT Women's Championship.
Introducing the challenger from London, England, Blake. And her opponent from Laredo, Texas, the NXT Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez.
And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we are almost ready for that NXT Championship to be defended. We have this matchup and two more championship matches on this historic edition of NXT. Referee rings the bell. Here we go, and look at the prodigy Roxanne coming right out of the gate, sending a direct message to Blake Monroe. She doesn't plan on losing that championship anytime here, anytime soon. The road to beating Roxanne Perez, it will not be easy. There's a lot of big-name women in this division, but certainly trying to knock off Roxanne is not going to be for the faint of heart. You're going to have to go to that next level to do that such thing. So Roxanne working on that head and neck area of Blake Monroe. Blake's got to figure out something here. She's got to be able to, try to outsmart the champion. Obviously, the champion has the advantage in this disqualification matchup. There is no count out, so Blake's going to have to try to use that to her advantage. And now Blake. Oh, goodness, nice drop kick there from the challenger. And certainly this is going to be one of the quickest ways for Blake Monroe to become champion if that were to happen. I mean, certainly she's been highly successful ever since joining NXT, having that big win at NXT Stand and Deliver. That certainly helps, but now if she can knock off the women's champion and become the new NXT Women's Champion, that would do wonders for her career early on. I thought for a minute she was going to go for the pinfall, but Roxanne just wants to ground and pound her opponent and kind of send a message. We just saw that cheap shot too. Roxanne does not respect anybody. And sometimes that championship gold gets to you. Sometimes. You reach the top of the mountain and you're like, well, you know what? I can disrespect people as many times as I want to. And now Roxanne, let's see what she wants to set up here. Taking maybe a little bit too much time, but she's looking to build up some speed. Oh, the running knee right to the midsection. And Blake has not been able to get much of anything going right now. This has been very one-sided from the get-go. And now Roxanne with an ice arm drag. Takedown. This might be the easiest defense in Roxanne's history here as NXT Women's Champion. And maybe just her whole career, looking for the Meteora, but Blake Monroe was able to move out the way, but she's not going to be able to, well, I was going to say move out the way of that maneuver, but she was able to block it that time. Again, Roxanne just one step ahead of the challenger. And certainly that's not the best thing to do. You don't want to give the champion any advantage in this matchup that she already has, but it just continues to build the confidence. And for Roxanne to knock off Julia there to retain the championship, a lot of people were expecting Julia to become the new champion there at NXT Stand and Deliver. But I think that this bodes well for Roxanne. The confidence, it has to be skyrocketing right through the roof here. And after what we're seeing tonight, I mean, certainly I got to believe it. As now, almost like a submission hold here at ringside, trying to do as much as what she can do, but Roxanne showing you the strength and power to be able to get up off the ground enough to put her through that mat here at ringside. And oh, throwing her right across the barricade here. And now Roxanne trying to toss her back in the ring, but Blake Monroe going to continue to fight out of it. She realizes she needs to get some kind of maneuvers going here. Better late than never, I suppose. And now just that Luthez press there, right there to Roxanne Perez. And now Blake going to take her time. Is she going to go back inside the ring? No. She's going to go high risk here. High risk, high reward. She kind of needs it, and she connects. That is what you want to see from the challenger. You got to, especially in this late in the matchup here. She tosses the champion back inside. And now Blake going to look for the pinfall. Was that enough? Damage at ringside to become champion? No, 2.5. The matchup will continue, but Blake needs to stay on the champion right now. And look at this maneuver. Oh, nice power maneuver there from Blake. And she literally has Roxanne right where she wants her. She has to keep this up if she wants to become champion. Pivotal moment in this matchup. But oh no, Roxanne able to use the ropes to her advantage. And now Roxanne from the top rope. Big axe handle right to the middle of the back. And now Roxanne telling Monroe to get up to her feet. Kick to the midsection. Looking for some pop rocks. Bam! Down goes Blake Monroe. Pinfall. 2. No. 2.5. Roxanne thought she had her, but she's got to stay on the challenger here. And Roxanne, that more aggressive side of herself, is definitely coming out here. Very frustrated. She thought that Pop Rocks was going to be enough, but now she's got to dig down deep even more. And now Roxanne, gets hit with a big reversal. Here comes Blake Monroe now. With a springboard. Oh no! Roxanne pushes it out the way and connects with a face buster. Let's see what Roxanne has in store. Oh, nice corkscrew maneuver there. Trying to do as much as possible to keep Blake Monroe down. It's an impressive neck breaker once again, bringing it to the challenger. And now Roxanne, I think she's looking for Pop Rocks a second time. If she connects, we're going to see retainment. No, she is not. She's going with an armbar or a crossface maneuver. Middle of the ring, crossface. Will Blake Monroe have to tap out? No, Roxanne, I believe, letting go of it, realizing that Blake Monroe was not going to tap. And this is where Roxanne can get even more dangerous, realizing she has to do more damage. She may get more sadistic in this moment as a pinfall opportunity. Was that enough to keep Blake Monroe down? No! Oh my goodness, the very last second. Blake Monroe kicking out. And now the frustration is brewing. You can see the welts on the face of Blake Monroe just brewing. How much more can Blake Monroe withstand in this matchup? This is all to become the women's champion here on NXT. And now off the ropes we go. And now another Lou Thez Press right to the face of Blake Monroe. She's going to have a black eye. She keeps taking this much. And now I'm going to go for another pinfall. You can see the frustration is continuing here. But this time around, Roxanne has defeated Blake Monroe tonight. It was I think it was just too much of Roxanne early on. Too much for Blake Monroe to really keep up in this matchup, as that axe handle would keep Blake Monroe down. But, I think if Blake Monroe wrestled like she did at Stand and Deliver, ladies and gentlemen, I think we would have had maybe a little bit of a better match, a better outcome for Blake Monroe tonight. But hey, that's Roxanne Perez for you, ladies and gentlemen. She is your NXT Women's Champion for a reason. That aggressive side continues to come out of the champion. And certainly for Roxanne Perez, the road to NXT Vengeance Day is upon us. And I'm very curious to see where the champions, contenders, show up. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is your Women's Tag Team Championships on the line here in NXT as Lyra Valkyria and Bayley take on the NXT Tag Team Champions of Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. This is the type of matchup you want to see top tag teams going at it. And certainly Lyra and Bayley, they were a tag team on Monday Night Raw. They had some ups and downs, still trying to figure themselves out. But, Adam Pearce drafted them quite early, and he definitely believes in what he has seen between them. And he's even given them an opportunity of a lifetime to take on Julia and Stephanie Vaquer for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. And for Lyra Valkyria, she has all the potential in the world. I think she very well could be the champion one day, even if it's NXT Women's Champion, if it's the Raw Women's World Championship, or on SmackDown if it's the Women's Championship. I mean, certainly she's very well up there, but now she is tag teaming with the role model Bayley. Bayley has done so much in this business. She's been WWE Women's Champion before. She's won big-time matches, not only at WrestleMania, but at SummerSlam and many other pay-per-views throughout the years. But now, she's back in her old stomping grounds of NXT. Obviously, when we started Universe Mode, Bayley was not in NXT, but we all obviously know her. Before we started Universe Mode, obviously she was here in NXT, but a whole opportunity now in Universe Mode to lead NXT to the future. NXT just isn't a developmental brand, easy for me to say. It is not a brand where you just develop these younger guys anymore. This is a brand that can be equal, if not better, than Raw and SmackDown. That is what The Rock wants to see. The final boss, he wants to see that. And he believes with how the draft turned out, he believes that's the best way to see it. As now here comes Stephanie Vaquer and Julia making their way down to the ring. Your NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. Two of the hardest hitting women in all of WWE, and luckily for them, they are still here in NXT. But if, let's say, something were to happen where they lost those tag team titles tonight, they can stay here still or go to Raw or SmackDown. That'd be a huge loss for the NXT Women's division if one of them, if not both of them, left.
The following contest is a tag team match scheduled for one fall and is for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. Introducing the challengers, the team of Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. And their opponents, the team of Stephanie Vaquer and Julia.
It seems like both women's tag teams are ready. The team of Bayley and Lyra Valkyria challenging for those women's tag team championships. This looks like Lyra Valkyria and Stephanie Vaquer will kick us off here. Referee rings the bell. Here we go. As Lyra Valkyria with the springboard, she misses wildly, and now Stephanie Vaquer will look to make her pay. Irish whip off the ropes. Here we go with a double back body drop early on here. This matchup is going to be very physical, could be very one-sided. I think for Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, they're going to have to do their best to be able to deal with how strong Julia and Stephanie Vaquer are in this matchup, withstand that damage that is dealt to them, and just be able to, figure them out, beat them down little by little to keep themselves in this matchup. As Stephanie Vaquer waiting patiently over the top rope into a flying crossbody, but she overestimated it. But now she's able to still able to toss her in the corner still. Seems like both teams are trying to go with those high-risk maneuvers, and it just has not been able to get there just yet because probably not only nervousness, but obviously overestimating a jump, especially trying to jump over the referee too. That's probably a big thing. But these women have done those maneuvers hundreds, if not thousands, of times, getting ready for those moments. It's just a bad, opportune time for both women to miss those. As Stephanie with those strikes right to the face of Bayley. Oh, stomp there from Stephanie, and then Stephanie gets a big leg drop right across the face of Bayley. 2 count there. Bayley stays in the matchup though. This is a good matchup, honestly, for Stephanie and Julia, especially dealing with Bayley, who has done so much in this business. Really test your your ways in this matchup. See if you can deal with the best of the best. And certainly with Bayley being drafted, she is definitely a main event talent here. Certainly. So let's say it doesn't go in the way. Bayley can throw herself right in the main event picture for that NXT Women's Championship. Could you imagine a Bayley-Roxanne Perez matchup? I mean, that's definitely there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Roxanne and Julia matchup once again. I mean, that matchup was pretty good. Stephanie Valkyrie and Roxanne, that would be a good matchup for the NXT Women's Championship. You can't look past Lyra Valkyria getting an opportunity at Roxanne. So, I mean, there's a lot of big-time matches still here that we could see. Even Natalia's here on NXT, former Women's United States Champion. So, I mean, there's plenty of big-name women. You have a lot of the same women we saw in last year's NXT that are still part of this year's NXT, with the likes of Lola Vice and many others. As look at that leg drop there from Lyra Valkyria. So, oh, nice knee strike there from Lyra. And look at Bayley. She's watching it on ringside. She's not on the apron, which is very surprising. Hopefully that's not a sign that Bayley is, frustrated or something. I mean, she has nothing to be frustrated about. Maybe she wants Lyra Valkyria to get all the attention in this matchup. I'm not sure, but hopefully just, by the chances, she just happens to be chilling out there. But right now it's technically a 2-on-1 situation. It's now Lyra Valkyria off the rope, misses that axe handle, but she gets destroyed by a brutal drop kick by the beautiful madness that is Julia. And ladies and gentlemen, in a matter of moments, when this matchup gets over and done with, it will be time for the NXT Championship. A match that certainly I never expected to see, but the new NXT Champion Dragon Lee will be in a match of a lifetime as he takes on the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. It's Julia with a nice kick. That was a stiff kick there from Lyra Valkyria. Pinfall opportunity, but just a 1 count. In just a matter of moments ago, ladies and gentlemen, we saw Lyra Valkyria blocking that knee strike that would have basically ripped the head off of Lyra Valkyria. We've seen Julia hit that ever since she's joined NXT. It's been very brutal. As now, wait a minute. Oh, goodness, what a back suplex, a double back suplex to Lyra Valkyria. And now Stephanie Valkyria setting her sights to Bayley, and she just takes her down a peg. And I think for Stephanie Valkyria, she didn't even need to set her focus to Bayley. Bayley was already out of the situation. There's a spinning heel kick out of nowhere. Is that enough to put away Valkyria, new champions? No, 2.5. Very close though. As now Bayley stirring up to her feet, and now she wants to be part of this matchup now. I'm very curious what was going on with Bayley for her not to be on the apron for her partner, but now she is. Now she wants to get involved. It is now Lyra Valkyria from the top rope district. Is this enough? Yes, it is. Big time leg drop from Lyra Valkyria. Big opportunity to become the tag team champions. No, 2.5. Look at these strikes from Lyra Valkyria. Kicks and palm-handed strikes. Everything that Lyra Valkyria can think of, she's pulling out right here, right now. Now going to connect with the scoop slam. Lyra Valkyria looking to maybe go to the top rope district one more time, and she will. Julia trying to get involved. But another leg drop from the top. Looks very shades of Carmelo Hayes with that leg drop. Is that enough? 2, 3 it is. Lyra Valkyria doing all the damage, ladies and gentlemen. And just like that, we have ourselves new NXT Tag Team Champions, and they are Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Wow, wow, wow. I'm absolutely surprised. Certainly there's times in this matchup, maybe Julia and Stephanie, maybe, I wouldn't say looking past them, but certainly could have easily done that. And I think the key factor was Stephanie Valkyria attacking Bayley, because Bayley was allowing Lyra Valkyria to do everything. So I don't know if that was part of the strategy for Bayley to test Lyra Valkyria, but Stephanie would go out of her way to attack Bayley, and Bayley would get on the apron. Obviously, Bayley didn't really get involved too much. Lyra did all of the action there, but again, the leg drops from Lyra Valkyria tonight gets the job done here. Big scoop slam there, which would lead to a second one right there. I believe Julia realized, hey, you know, Stephanie should be able to kick out. She did the first time, but not the second time. And we have ourselves new NXT Tag Team Champions. We started off NXT with new Tag Team Champions, and now the Women's Tag Team Division as well have new champions. Congratulations to Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. I'm really looking forward to see how this partnership as a tag team works. Wait just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. It seems like there's some tension here at ringside between Stephanie Valkyria and Julia. Both women frustrated after what happened. Maybe it seemed like Julia not too happy about Stephanie losing the match, pardon me. But certainly, you know, you'd hate to see them, you know, bicker like this, because they can have a rematch. Maybe they can have it next week if they talk to Adam Pearce, or maybe, just maybe, have it at NXT Vengeance Day. Certainly would be a good way, but wait a minute. Julia has Stephanie Valkyria up, and she drops her right on her head. Are you gotta be kidding me. The beautiful Madness taking out frustration on her partner. She connects with a brutal head strike, and now Julia not done just yet. Not again, Julia. Come on, relax. There's no need for this as again. Taking out her tag team partner. I've seen too much of it on Raw and now on SmackDown. You hate to see it. I mean, yes, both of these women came into NXT. They were top of their own classes, obviously. Dominant in Japan. And obviously, Stephanie Valkyria was top of her game as well. They weren't bound to be tag teams for a very long time, but you'd hate to see it go this way, ladies and gentlemen. You would expect maybe a little bit more class between both of these women, but Julia seems to not give a damn. Certainly, this just seems like this is a whole different Julia to be expected. Losing at NXT Stand and Deliver. Losing the Tag Team Championships tonight, even though she was not pinned. Certainly, Julia is not happy about that. And I understand that, but like I said, there's different ways to go about it, as Julia just trying to break that kendo stick over Stephanie Valkyria over and over and over again. Let's look at that kendo stick, ladies and gentlemen. That stick is almost broken. Just look at the welts on that. Oh no! Julia has busted open Stephanie Valkyria, ladies and gentlemen. And now, Julia from the high rent district. Julia, big time elbow right on the broken kendo stick. And now Julia, oh no, not like this. Not like this. Spinning, oh my goodness. Almost like a spinning Shinukyu driver. But now Julia again, looking to put the cherry on top of the sundae. Right on the broken kendo sticks. Bam! Brain busters galore, and Julia has betrayed her tag team partner.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the NXT Championship.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is main event time here on NXT. As it will be Cody Rhodes challenging for the NXT Championship, challenging the man Dragon Lee, who knocked off Ethan Page live at NXT Stand and Deliver. Cody Rhodes earlier on tonight said, hey, being drafted here to NXT, this is an honor. But I didn't just come here to just be here. Cody Rhodes is coming here to lead the charge. And certainly if Cody Rhodes can knock off Dragon Lee tonight, he definitely will be leading the charge. But Dragon Lee, he's not going to want to be put down here just to, obviously defeat Ethan Page, come back from behind in that Iron Man matchup, just to lose it here on this edition of NXT. And Cody Rhodes knows how good Dragon Lee is in the middle of that ring. So Cody Rhodes is not looking past Dragon Lee. And if he does, Dragon Lee will be able to defeat Cody Rhodes tonight. And after tonight, for this NXT roster, they'll be upgrading this site. Obviously, this is an older edition of NXT New Year's Evil. You'll see a whole different stage area for NXT starting next week here. But this week it's all about Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. Coming up with, the first episodes for each one of them. SmackDown's New Year's resolution, but certainly a lot of stuff going on for NXT, as there is your NXT champion, Dragon Lee. That man really fought tooth and nail to stay in that matchup with Ethan Page. Back and forth those two went, and how Ethan Page was, he was up by a couple good falls with, I believe, just under 5 minutes. And Dragon Lee, credit to that man, dug down deep and fought real hard, and he was able to put down Ethan Page to become the new NXT champion. And talking about Ethan Page, he is on Monday Night Raw now, and he's actually going to have his first main roster matchup here in Universe Mode next week on Monday Night Raw, as he takes on LA Knight, the Megastar, in which should be a very good, highly contested matchup between those two. Both men very, very mouthy. Got the All Ego versus the Megastar. Looking forward to that matchup, but we got to obviously get through tonight before we even get to look forward to that Monday Night Raw episode. And it is for that prestigious NXT Championship. So many big names throughout the years have held that championship. Will Cody Rhodes be next in line to hold that championship?
Introducing the challenger from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing in at 220 pounds, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And his opponent from Jalisco, Mexico, weighing in at 165 pounds, the NXT champion, Dragon Lee.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, everyone has been looking forward to this matchup ever since it was announced earlier on today by The Rock. Cody Rhodes looks to prove himself here as the first overall draft pick, taking on the NXT champion. Who will be leading the NXT roster into the foreseeable future? We're about to find out right here, right now. Referee has rung the bell. Here we go. This is a first time ever matchup. And if I'm honest with you, it looks weird having Cody Rhodes here in NXT. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You're just used to seeing Cody on Raw and SmackDown. But him being drafted here to NXT is going to do wonders for Cody Rhodes, especially with the talent that has been drafted over here to NXT. A lot of great things are going to be expected. And obviously, this is probably a little sentimental for Cody Rhodes as well. His father, who was a coach here, helped a lot of these superstars that are on the main rosters, the main event talent superstars. He has helped them grow. And certainly for Cody Rhodes to be back to where his dad basically helped grow NXT, it's definitely going to be, you know, something that he's going to cherish for sure. But also, well, like I mentioned, Cody wants to lead this brand. Cody's going to have to, you know, be that top guy. Taking that NXT championship might be the thing that he has to do tonight. It's a nice springboard into Guri, takes down the champion. And Cody Rhodes going to work with those big-time haymakers, taking it to Dragon Lee. Cody slowly but surely taking it to the champion. And certainly, a lot of people, if I'm honest with you, probably will count out Dragon Lee, but you can't in this instance. Cody Rhodes could make some mistakes in this matchup and get, you know, Dragon Lee in this matchup. You just never know. But the amount of talent that NXT has here tonight, I mean, and that we're also drafted, I mean, certainly there's a lot to probably say, be like, hey, you know, this NXT roster, they can do great things. As now Dragon Lee building up some momentum and connects with a beautiful drop kick, takes down the American Nightmare. And now Dragon Lee looking to build some momentum off that drop kick. Big time Hurricane Rana takes down the challenger. And look at Cody. He's on his wobbly legs right now as the champion, coming right at him. But now Cody Rhodes with a nice kick right to the temple. Cody Rhodes isn't looking to get embarrassed tonight. He wants to knock off Dragon Lee with a big-time elbow right across the back. Certainly not the best feeling in the world there. Now Cody Rhodes looking to inflict some more pain. Gonna go for the pinfall. We'll see if that elbow was enough to put down the champion. But no, a very close 2 count. But we know Dragon Lee's a fighter, ladies and gentlemen, type of man that will fight through anything. Can he fight through this pedigree? No, he cannot. Pedigree, middle of that ring. Will that be enough? 2. No, 2 1/2. And this is where Dragon Lee's got to be able to withstand what comes next here. Because Cody Rhodes can hit you with so many different things. And I think we're about to find out what exactly Cody Rhodes may be looking to hit him with. But Dragon Lee with a big reversal. That is what I'm talking about. Mistakes that will have to be, you know, be capitalized. That big knee strike from Dragon Lee. There goes Dragon Lee with the NXT Championship. Can he walk out with it? Pivotal moment. Shoulders are down. 1, 2. Ooh, 2 1/2. See, it's the mistakes that Cody Rhodes has in this matchup that Dragon Lee will have to look to capitalize, and he did. It just was not enough to put down Cody. Now this is where Cody goes to another level here, though. And now, wait a minute. Cody Rhodes. Do we have a submission hold here at ringside? Obviously, this is not a Falls Count Anywhere matchup, but certainly that will do some damage. Hopefully that might help out Cody Rhodes here as a standing Spanish fly here at ringside. Dragon Lee doing quite well, trying to do his best with the top talent in all of WWE, that being Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes kind of showing off some rage right now, looking to put away Dragon Lee momentarily, possibly. As he tosses Dragon Lee back inside the ring. Cody Rhodes setting up Dragon Lee here. Look at the moonsault, but again, another mistake. And Dragon Lee capitalizes. That's a second time in this matchup, a mistake by the American Nightmare. And now Dragon Lee will look to capitalize. No, but no, Cody Rhodes able to reverse it. But back and forth we go between the champ and the challenger. This is what you love to see, as Cody Rhodes, though, with a reversal. And now Cody telling Dragon Lee to get up to his feet. What does the challenger have in store here? Crossroads! Crossroads the first time in the match. Is that enough? 2. No! 2 1/2, and Cody cannot believe it. How much more can Dragon Lee withstand here? He's taking a pedigree, and then he's also taking a crossroads. And Cody Rhodes here This big punch and slaps. Dragon Lee needs to bring it. Cody Rhodes sending a message to Dragon Lee. He said, hey, you want to be the top guy here in NXT? You're going to have to go through me. And now Dragon Lee exchanging some strikes back to Cody Rhodes. He's sending a message to the challenger. And he gets the upper hand. And uh-oh, Dragon Lee releasing that knee pad on the right side of his knee there. Uh-oh. Cody might want to get out of the way. Oh, Cody Rhodes able to, kind of stop Dragon Lee. Maybe Dragon Lee kind of got a little tired there. Wasn't able to connect with what he wanted to. It's a nice super kick there, flush to the face. And uh-oh. Dragon Lee. This could be the upset of the century as a champion here. Down goes Rhodes. Down goes Rhodes. Is that it? 2. No, 2.5. He almost had him. And Dragon Lee trying to fire himself up, trying to fire up this crowd to get him in his favor. And Rhodes looks like he was trying to get back in the ring. Dragon Lee was going to follow him, but at least now Dragon Lee has the momentum right now. Big pivotal moment in the career of Dragon Lee. Could you imagine what the stocks are going to be for Dragon Lee if he's able to upset one of the biggest names in all of WWE and all of professional wrestling? Is now Cody has him up. Pedigree here at ringside. Was that the knockout blow that Cody Rhodes needed? That is the second pedigree in this matchup. And we're about to find out. Hook of the leg. Referee is in position. 2, 3. Cody Rhodes has done it. He has survived Dragon Lee. Cody Rhodes is your new NXT champion. What a match. Dragon Lee put on an absolute show. I would say Dragon Lee struggled more against Ethan Pate, than Cody Rhodes tonight. Dragon Lee was very good tonight. Only allowing Cody Rhodes with 1 crossroads, and obviously the 2 pedigrees were the main things to really get the job done tonight. But damn, what a damn good finish from Cody Rhodes tonight and Dragon Lee. This is where we'd see that crossroads early on in the matchup there. But right here, a spinning slam there, that wasn't enough. But right here is where Cody's like, hey, I got to hit this if I want to become the champion. Bam, pedigree right there at ringside. And that would lead to the 1, 2, 3. And Cody Rhodes, he said he came here to lead. Well, certainly he's getting that opportunity. He is the NXT champion. And a little shout out to his dad there by winning that championship here, where he helped create a lot of careers here in NXT. What a moment. What a surreal moment for Cody Rhodes. He's on top of the NXT universe. And wait, what? Is that Kurt Angle? That's Kurt Angle's music. Kurt Angle, ladies and gentlemen, Kurt Angle is here. And he has the TNA World Heavyweight Championship with him. TNA World Champion Kurt Angle. I mean, we haven't really seen Kurt Angle in a good while, ladies and gentlemen. He was the honorary Uce in that blood feud between the New Bloodline and the Bloodline half a year ago, if not a little bit longer. But we didn't see Kurt after a while. And, well, I guess we found out what's going on. Kurt Angle is the TNA World Champion. What is Kurt Angle doing here live tonight? Cody Rhodes just won the NXT Championship, kind of ruining it. And you notice the pocket, the polka dots, something that Dusty Rhodes would wear. So I'm maybe little shots at his father here, but Kurt Angle is here, and it seems like he has something to say about this NXT TNA partnership here live. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Cody. Congratulations, really. You won the NXT Championship. Confetti, fireworks, smiles, tears. Real inspirational stuff. But let's not pretend I'm out here to celebrate you. You see, everybody's been talking about this NXT TNA partnership like TNA is here to learn. Like we're here to play nice and take notes. Let me make this perfectly clear, Cody. I didn't come to NXT because I needed the spotlight. I didn't come here because TNA needs exposure. I came here because I am the standard, and partnerships only work when my company is treated like an equal or better. And then I look up and I see you, Cody Rhodes, the poster boy, the storybook ending, the man who finishes stories while everyone around him props him up and tells him how special he is. You call yourself the face of NXT now. That's cute, because I've carried companies on my back, I've won titles on broken necks. I didn't need a story, I was the story. This partnership, it's not about handshakes, it's about proving dominance. And if NXT wants to walk around claiming that they are the future, then the future needs to survive Kurt Angle. So enjoy the celebration while it lasts, champ, because sooner or later, this partnership is going to demand a reckoning, and when it does, Olympic gold doesn't bow to fairy tales. Kurt, first things first, respect. Olympic gold medalist, world champion everywhere you've ever stepped foot. You didn't even just raise the bar, you were the bar. But don't mistake respect for fear. You want to talk about stories, about fairy tales. Let me tell you something. This title didn't come with a shortcut. I didn't win it because of a partnership, a favor, or a spotlight. I won it because NXT is full of men who fight like their careers depend on it. And tonight, I was just a little bit better. You say you're the standard? Good, because this brand was built on standards. Hard work, competition, proving yourself every single night. And if this NXT TNA partnership is about dominance, then I welcome it. Because iron sharpens iron. You bring the best, we'll bring the ours. But understand this, Kurt. NXT isn't your proving ground, it's not your playground, and it's damn sure not a place where champions get disrespected. You hold that TNA World Championship with pride, I hold this one with purpose. So if the day comes where champion meets champion, you won't be standing across from a fairy tale. You'll be standing across from a man who finishes fights. Man, you could cut the tension with a knife, ladies and gentlemen. Kurt Angle, Cody Rhodes. It seems like this is bound to get crazy sooner rather than later, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for tuning in as we have Kurt Angle, TNA World Champion, face to face with Cody Rhodes, the new NXT Champion. Kurt Angle walking up the ramp. Cody Rhodes watches on, and is that that's formerly known as Dolph Ziggler. That's Nick Nemeth from TNA. That's Nick Nemeth, ladies and gentlemen. What in the hell? He's a part of TNA, and he's stomping away on the NXT champion. And Cody Rhodes busted wide open here. Talk about partnership. TNA throwing that right out the window. Yeah, certainly doesn't believe it's going to be a friendly partnership. Believe that. And Ziggler tuning up the band. Super kick right there to Cody. And Ziggler setting it up one more time. Another super kick just for good measures. This man, Dolph Ziggler, certainly knows how to make a name for himself, and he has just laid out your NXT champion. And TNA getting the spotlight they want and they desperately deserve. This is what a partnership looks like, Cody. Welcome to the real competition. We are just getting started. I'll see you next week, champ.